Good morning, everybody. So, yep, you did see exactly how my altar looks when it's in operation and on times that I'm using it. So, this video is about how to cat-proof an altar, and towards the end of the video, if you stay tuned, we'll show you the end product and some of the things that I've come up with to make my life just a little bit easier and a little bit more productive when dealing with my kitty kids. So, this is my altar after my cats have had their way with it after just about a day. So to begin with, where to begin, right? So you can obviously see they started their rearranging of my altar on the corner of it. They clearly wanted to get to the incense, and they clearly wanted to cleanse their space. However, luckily, they don't have opposable thumbs, so they couldn't use my lighter underneath my cauldron. So they did actually move the candles around the way they wanted them, as well as the incense. And we're getting ready to really lop off my other bag of incense and probably my grimoire onto the floor, but got distracted clearly by one of my other kids jumping up on my altar cloth to power slide into a nice comfortable position for her to sleep. That's all we see right there, and that whole outline is right there as her sleeping spot. And again, this is only after just a day. And we come over to here, and what we do see is something that is rather funny, except when it's 6 o'clock in the morning and you're actually trying to sleep. But one of my other guys, Max, he's got this affinity for knocking things off any surface that he can to get my attention or to wake me up when his food dish can have its bottom revealed. Even though there's food in the dish, if he sees bottom, he starts to go into panic mode. So today, what he had done already was knocked over both my rings, my bracelets, as well as a candle, as well as this book, and he had already lined up some other things that he was going to start flinging off the table had I not responded to him as I did. He's also responsible for another mess that I'm going to show you inside the kitchen that he worked with his brother Loki, but that's besides the point. So again, going back over further into my altar, you can see also that they wanted to pile up the tarot cards rather than have them lying down flat in a nice lined manner that I had them. Since I'm a Virgo, I like it very linear and very clean. Clearly they were planning on doing something with these cards because they bundled them around the candle. Yet again, luckily, because they don't have opposable thumbs, they couldn't get that lighter working. Therefore, whatever ritual they were planning on doing was thwarted. And there goes Reese, right on cue, and just getting ready to do whatever it is she's planning on doing at any given time. Probably kind of upset that I'm around her altar and I'm actually utilizing it today. So, as we get a little bit closer to the ending portion of this first video, you can also see my chalice, my pine on the table because, hey, why not? They knocked it over. They didn't want the angel to see what they were doing, so they turned her ass around, and they went in to get actually at the herbs as well as start to play with my pine cone, which they got disrupted when I was yelling out to them to stop the nonsense. And this was probably around 4:30 this morning as far as when that chalice went over and some of the other shenanigans began. So, we like to see pretty pictures of altars, and I do enjoy showing my pictures of my altars when it's set up. However, if you have kitty cat familiars, this is your actual altar and what you deal with on a daily basis. And so, some of the things that I came up with to try to contend with that is what I'm going to share with you towards the end of the video. So I do hope you enjoyed this segment. Let me know what you think in the comments or any other ideas that you may have with kitty cat proofing surfaces such as your altar. And again, I'll see you in just a brief time with a little bit different setup on my altar and what I do with it now. So, hope you enjoyed this portion of the video. See you next. So this is my herb area. This is where I store the herbs that I grind and that I've dried, and this is where I utilize my mixtures to make herbal teas and other herbal concoctions, right? So right next door to that area is actually the cabinet where I keep a lot of my base teas as well as essential oils and a lot of other things, as you can see, as even mason jars and alcohol. And it's in this cabinet, you see, that I would put the kitty treats right up there. Reason being, it's relatively hard to open, it's glass, and the likelihood is they're not going to get up there, right? Until this morning. So after having their way with a portion of the altar, Max came out here along with Loki, my little black kitty cat, and they decided to open up this door. And they started flinging some of my tea tins on the floor until they finally got to the kitty cat treat bag, which they clearly flung on the floor, and along with that, chewed open a portion of it and started sharing treats with everybody else. Now, mind you, this isn't the first time, which is why this was actually in a cabinet. Along with that, they've done that with their cat food bag as well, which is why it's in a top cabinet. Along with that, whatever portion is going to be giving them is in a plastic container on top of the refrigerator, because yeah, they knocked that over too to eat. So this is what I'm contending with when they say why I'm looking at cat-proofing my altar the way I'm going to cat-proof it. Hope you enjoyed this portion of the video as well. So you're probably wondering, who are all the characters in this sitcom of kitty cats with witches? And to be honest with you, this is my first little girl. That's Reese. She's the one that loves sleeping on the altar, as well as snuggling up with me. And she may look wonderful, warm, sweet, and she actually is, but you put her next to another cat. Stop chewing the plant. You put her next to another cat, and she can be quite the bitch. This is Shadow. Shadow's another fun guy. He's the one that likes really getting into panic attacks when his food dish gets into the danger zone and notifying all of his siblings to get involved in waking me up and getting Operation Feed the Cats in play. As you can tell, he's looking at his cat dish bowl right now and he sees the bottom, and that's disturbing and distressing to him. So unless I do something about that relatively soon, he's going to get himself into some more trouble along with his brothers. So this is Max right here, my big boy. He really enjoys getting into the kitchen cabinets as well as helping his little brother chew through any bags or any containers that may be of curious to him that might have some food. You can see that he's sniffing his way around the kitchen right now, trying to decide what the fuck he's going to get into next. And you can also see how my screen sometimes gets a little bit tacked up by him. But that's just Max, and that's just what he does. And this is Loki. Loki's my other little boy, and he definitely lives up to his name as the god of chaos. Him and Max do the most chaos in the house, and he's off to find his own little way of doing something else even as we speak. And there he goes, looking for shit to get into. Now, if you want to get into the queen of chaos, this is Coco, Coco Chanel. She is my cockatoo, my umbrella cockatoo. And the shit she can get into and the things that she can do, it's rather impressive. Now you would think, Bri, why would you have a bird with 4 cats? But the reality of it is, she's the diva, and she and Reese share diva responsibilities. They have a truce together, they don't bother each other, but they really fuck with the boys. So she chases the cats around, just like a bigger cat would, and so she pretty much runs the household the way that she likes to have it run. And of course, we never leave anyone unattended to prevent any type of injuries or anything else of that nature. Now, some of the things that Coco loves to do, besides yelling at the top of her voice, when she wants to eat, as well as loving snuggles and such, is she'll get into the woodworking, and she'll chew up the woodwork, as you can see there and over there. That's just one of the behaviors, obviously, she has, and that's what happens when you leave her unattended for like a minute and a half alone. So she spends less time in her cage and more time with us during the day when we're home. Therefore, situations happen, but it's happy accidents, and we just make sure that she stays safe and that we just enjoy the time that we have with all of them. And this is her view from outside, where she can just enjoy the other birds, enjoy the sounds, and she loves running out in the rain. So you'll hear her yelling and saying rain, rain when it's really pouring out. And during the warmer months, I have to take her outside with me so she can just spread her wings and get herself really wet in the rain. It's rather fun to see, and I'll try to share a video of that down the road. So these are the players inside of my home with what I need to do to pet-proof and kitty-proof a lot of my little fragile witchy things. And we'll be getting into that at the end of the video. Okay folks, so you generally get an idea of how I keep my altar from my previous videos. But after demonstrating what the kids do to my altar, I redid my altar as I'm actually setting up for my next Sabbath. And that being said, I just wanted to show you generally a refresher what it is my altar looks like when I'm getting ready to do ritual and when I'm preparing to do readings and preparing it to be my sacred space once again for whatever action or activity I'm going to be planning on doing. So this is how I like to see my altar. This is how I feel it's therapeutic to me, and it helps me with what I'm going to be creating and manifesting within myself and in the universe. Hello everyone, and okay, this is the final result that I came up with to relatively cat-proof your altar. Now, the big secret to all of this is, naturally, you can't cat-proof anything, let alone an altar with beautiful shiny objects on it that's really got wonderful relaxing energy and probably smells amazing, especially when it's strewn with herbs and such. So you're not going to cat-proof your altar. What you're only able to do, I feel, is make it a usable space for both, and to limit or mitigate the amount of damage they're going to create and throw things all over the floor and disrupt the tidiness of it as best you can. So as we pan on down now, you're going to see that I put a lot of the candles and a lot of the other things further away in an area that they don't generally track. Now, mind you, cat psychology, now that I put them there, that's probably going to be a place where they decide they're going to walk quite a lot. And I got a plan B if that does happen, where I'll be moving the candles and such to another area that they're not going to reach. Further down, my black altar cloth is tucked up underneath my crystal ball. This way I'm not going to get cat fur all over it. And I've got my altar cloth that I'll actually be using coming up to our next Sabbath in May. And generally put more of the heavier items out and about on top of that altar cloth, along with my grimoire, which is generally, that's its home spot anyway, to mitigate the amount of surface area they're going to have to really disrupt things. And that crystal ball being as heavy as it is, I'm confident that nothing's going anywhere else. So this was my solution to limiting the amount of, for lack of a better word, disruption my kids can have on my altar. If you've got some other ideas, feel free to share them in the comments. And if you've got some other hints, tips, and tricks, again, feel free, share them in a comment. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and leave that comment in my comment section. It does help my channel grow, and it does help all of us grow as a community. So until next time, be safe, be well, and as always, be blessed.